Welcome. It is the season
Tis the season.
of the cuff. Just when you thought you might have had enough of that rough, lovey-dovey dub up your butt.
But it's cold outside.
Oh, who you holding, baby?
It's cold outside.
It is so cold. When you're feeling so bold,
When it's cold outside.
whether you're young or you're old, find you a nice slimmy to hold. A slimmy who, gimme. Stuff them through the chimney like Santa in Atlanta. You can find everything that you want. Want.
Playing too much. Ain't no Santa in
Ain't no,
Atlanta.
yeah, butt pockets. Yeah, we love it. But yeah, it's October 1st.
And it's cold outside.
It's the official kickoff, the official beginning. It's the initial official cuffing season day. Pop off, jump, pop up. It's cuffing season, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is.
Spooning time.
Yeah, spooning time. Time to find you that small spoon, that 3/4 cup to your 1 cup.
Big
You understand
spoon.
what I'm saying? Like, and not to make it all about height, but it could be yeah, right. Where are you? We gonna fuck up. Shout outs to all the Virgos. We just came out of that beautiful, glorious. This year was one of the best Virgo seasons I can recall in quite some time. To be honest with you. I mean, and it wasn't personified by, like, it wasn't filled with gifts. It wasn't filled with a whole lot of fun and just, reckless abandon. It was filled with connection. It was filled with experiences. It was filled with genuine love. It was filled with taking the time to actually respond to each, post on my page, say thank you, just to show, saying gratitude, because that's what I try to wake up with every day nowadays, is gratitude. And I really do hope that my audience can do the same. There's a lot of evil going on in the world right now. And even though this is, Cuffin season and the spooky season, which, we'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. Still, it's just a lot of that stuff just hanging around out there in our environment. So look, I'm telling y'all, use this as the first step in your smudge or your clean or your transformation for tomorrow, for today, for the next week, the next month, whatever. This is me breathing. Everyone breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose. Hold. And out through your mouth. Lay your feet flat against the floor. Like, I want your soles on the floor. Soles on the floor. If you got slippers on, if you got shoes on, kick them off real quick and connect with that floor. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm kicking off my little boats. And little boat, like Lil Yachty or something. Lil Yachty, get it? Lil boat. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, just be there. Be here in the silence. Or the buzz, depending on, Okay, now we're going to come out of that. Open your eyes. I know that wasn't like the type of meditation time that you guys are used to or, would have wanted. But this is my show, so I do things, differently, and I'm okay with that. So you better be as well. Or try to be.
Let's go.
We can meet somewhere in the middle. Anyhow, you know what it is. You know what it is. And here's our intro. How?
No secret, it's the meat. Don't skimp on the meat. I got a real good eye for prime meat. Runs in the family.
Carnivore, wanna start a war? Find which celebrity got the dirty draws. Married to the game with no prenup or clause. Making every ass thing, nigga, no terms or charge. We got the meat. We got the meat. We got the meat. Hey, we making every ass thing. Got the meat. We got the meat. We. And we are here. Not only are we back, but we're here. We are here. We're present, and we are lovely. We're performing. We're printing. We're passing it along, yo. Love and everything. Welcome to this week's episode of the Meat Podcast. And in case you forgot, why don't you remind them what it stands for?
What does the meat stand for? Let's go from that. Give it to us, brother.
Oh, no, I was telling you to give it to us. Okay, so y'all see that we don't have a script this week. Making every ass think. That is what the meat stands for.
Making every one of y'all last little raggedy.
Even y'all put together ones. Y'all need to think sometimes too in a different path, a different direction, differently. I am your fine, furry, feathered, and fly friend, Kevin Kaoz, and I'm here with one of my fly, furry, definitely furry friends.
Don't hate on the beer gang. This is your whole co-host.
I'm here with the bad man, Jaha.
Julian Ja, the general.
There he goes, y'all. Y'all knew who he is. Y'all know what it is.
Beer
you know
gang,
what I'm saying?
Beer gang.
Yeah, I. Yo, a shout out to all the Virgos. We just came out of Virgo season, y'all. We just came out of Virgo season. It was like I was saying, it was a very, very great experience. But once it entered the Libra season, things start falling apart. And first thing I wanted to start this episode off with acknowledging the passing of 4 people in my life. My aunt Margaret passed earlier in the month. My good friend, my friend Spencer Knutson, or Spencer Angelova, some people knew him by, and Tom Lewis. They all passed like a week within the same week. Yeah, and last is my very good friend Dylan Kangas. Yeah. So the thing about this life that we're living, and I've changed how I've looked at death when it comes before a person's time, or death when it comes at the hands of that person. You know what I mean? And trigger warning. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I think us as humans, our instinct is to selfishly, be really in our emotions, like, oh my God, they gave up. Why didn't they reach out? Or why didn't they, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that would make us feel better in that moment, that's what we're wishing for. You know what I mean? But I've realized this a few years ago when one of my ex's brother had committed suicide. I told you about this before, right? And I realized then, that's when I learned that when somebody's ready to go, they're ready, and there's no talking them off the ledge. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just none of that. You can't control that. You can't keep them from feeling whatever they feel, because maybe it's not your fault. Maybe it is your fault. Maybe, you don't have the tools to help somebody navigate through that because you don't know yourself. I mean, maybe it's just that time. Maybe that's the time that God even, you know what I'm saying, knows is coming. You know what I mean? And hey, he's opening it up for him. But I just wanted to say, people, it gives us a lot of pain. It hurts, especially too when you think about, ways that you could have possibly stepped in and, been at least a light or some more of a buffer, you know what I'm saying, or protection for that friend, because you're just living with the fact that you can't speak to them again. You can't hug them. You can't, tell them, shower them in compliments, because they're fucking stand up people in a world full of people that are just loose and have no, you know what I'm saying, sense of what loyalty or respect or friendship is. It's so many people. In the first moments I was thinking about, like, why can you take this person? You know what I mean? And that's very selfish. and very yeah, that's negative, you know what I mean? And so I encourage anyone who has ever felt that way to really try, to ask yourself some questions and do some inventory. Like, why do you feel that way? Or why? You know what I mean? Because we need to show up differently for one another. We need to show up more thoroughly, more intentional. We need to show up with the room and with the capacity and with the willingness, with the desire to be that friend that we want everyone else to be for us. We really have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to like get to that goal. And it may not sound like a big thing. It may sound like something very small. People don't hardly give it a thought in their day-to-day lives, but just think about it for a second. As you get older, I think you think about these things a lot more because, you start to talk to less and less people, less and less people pay you attention. Less and less people, you know what I mean, are that interested in knowing what you have to say or what's on your mind because, you just don't fit into a book-ended period of life. Yeah, it hurts. But I am taking a little bit of solace in the fact that, they no longer have to deal with those issues. They no longer have to deal with those internal and external fights, those voices in the head that, discourage them from, doing the right thing versus, doing what's convenient for the moment. All those things that we know we all feel at some point. I don't know. We gotta feel them. You know what I'm saying? And I just wish I had, another, few minutes even. Yeah, I don't want much. Just a few minutes, just so I can like let you know on your way. Send you off with at least one thought that was on your side, or you know what I mean, that came from a place of like love for you, because I know you felt that the world didn't love you. I know you felt there's so many people that should have been, they were there, right? They were there getting things from you. They were there to use you, just like, I got people in my life that do the same. I think everybody deals with that on some level, but I remember, man. I know I saw it happen in front of me, like the level in which people take from you. Man, you're such a giving person. You were such a fucking giving. But when you needed to buck up on a bitch, you would. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you're a legend. You're gonna go down in a certain community. You know what I'm saying? Also known as the person that beat such and such up. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else was kind of afraid to beat him up because he was a snitch. And nobody want to get knocked. So but you said fuck it. I mean, you showed up with, what was it, a crowbar or a baseball bat? Like you did your due diligence on that ass. And for some reason, whenever I see them now, they are the most nicest. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that. Thank you for being, I don't know, just you, man. I know that you felt alone a lot and shit, but every moment I spent with you, man, it was great. Even when we argued, even when we didn't get along, because I was trying to tell you things that I just swore you just were ignoring, but again, selfishly, that's just the power we feel we should have with our friendships and shit is like, okay, if I tell them something, they should just, but it's not that easy. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. I just, I wish I could have been there in that last couple of moments just to say, that we need you here. You know what I'm saying? Like no, don't. But anyway, love you, bro. Dylan, Kangas, Spencer, Knutson, and Tom Lewis. Time to cut it off. Oh, you hear this? Yeah, I know. Too much ambient music. I mean, noises. Yo, so what's first on the docket today? Just shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all make a peaceful transition. I pray for your peace. I pray for everything that's gonna come. And please, if you can show up every now and then, show up, please, because it'll be nice to talk to you. Anyway, this has been. Guess what I saw this weekend?
What'd you see?
Saw X.
Lord have
the
mercy.
10th installment to the Saw franchise. This single franchise that reinvented the slasher / horror genre and gave it a little twist. It's like, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of Agatha Christie, some murder mystery. Who done it? You know what I'm saying? And they always have a nice little twist. At first they were very good twists, then the shit started kind of skittering off, you know what I'm saying, into other avenues, and just too much like of people not thinking for these characters to be who they were. And you know what I'm saying, you think detectives. If you made detective, that means that you're a smart motherfucker and you could put stuff together, you know what I'm saying, based on,
But question, was it worth going to the movies?
Yes, it was. It was, for the simple fact that
these days the movies be expensive.
No. That shit was worth it for the simple fact that, see, and I go to those movies in particular because they always make me squirm. Like when when the original franchise was
you be
running,
like Brenda on Scary Movie,
man. Like in the early 2000s, like I live for that opening scene, especially every opening scene on the fucking series. I live for that. I actually would go there, make sure I was there the first night, just so that I can see how the fuck they were gonna come into this movie. You know what I'm saying? And they never disappointed. They never disappointed, except for with the last one the Saw final chapter, when the blood was pink. And there was all these other inconsistencies with the continuity of that movie. It was like they really was rushing to do it. And they made it 3D, which was just a bad choice. But anyway, no, this one, they went back to the basics, my dude. And when I tell you, it was shit that like was... okay, yeah, it
was that deep.
It's and I mean, everybody dies. It's just you know what I'm saying, it's like one of those things. But there was, I am disappointed to learn that there was a mid-credit scene that of course I walked out before, because the ending of the movie was piss poor. My balls dropped. It was crazy. Like I had like the immediate scabies itches, you know what I'm saying? Like it was that bad of an ending. It was, well, I won't say it's bad. It just it was like, nah, this a lot to be desired on that ending. But had I stuck around for the credits,
where you left right after the movie was over,
man, I said, well, I was a little in shock initially, and then I said, okay, well, overall, I liked it. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, and we were talking about it and shit, right? And so I wasn't even paying attention or thinking about the fact that nowadays people do keep doing those, mid-credit things.
Oh, like the bloopers and shit.
Yeah. And it's like it gave an Easter egg, I guess, to the next. What the next one could possibly be, and where in the timeline it can take place. Because now it's like what they're doing, and it's smart, is they're going back and they're explaining everything that was leading up to all the other shit we already saw, like the stuff that happened in between. You know what I mean? And so it's a smart strategy, especially now while the guy is still alive, because he's getting up there. You know what I'm saying? But it goes with the character. You know what I'm saying? Especially the fact that he's supposed to be like a cancer patient.
When was the first one made?
2004, if I'm not mistaken. Let me verify.
Okay.
2004. I think 2004 is the first one, and then it came. Then every year, it came out. It came like every 7 years after that, or whatever. Six more years. It just dropped the same time every year. It was actually the shit. Was Paranormal Activity was the movie that kind of took over Halloween after Saw went out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I want to say that they started doing them like towards the last of the Saw movies, and then they ended up switching it, pushing the date closer and closer to Halloween since Saw was going out. And so when that stopped, it was like, yeah, Paranormal Activities were all up in that bitch. But anyway, it was worth seeing. It was good. It was gory. They went back to the basics. Yeah, it was a lot of gore. But I just didn't understand. The premise didn't kind of work, because it's like, this man is really smart. He can make all these things. He's a civil engineer. So how the fuck can he not tell that these bitches is scamming him? How can he not tell? Like, how will you ask them what the treatment is going to be, and they give this generic ass explanation? It's a combination of this special little drink and, you know what I'm saying, surgery. Well, surgery. Whoa, what part? Like questions. Give me some like big words, hypothalamus or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Some real vernacular.
Right. Come on. I mean, it was just obvious. Like, dude, like you're a med student. You're not a doctor. And I mean, this shit was just so sloppy. It was so sloppy in that sense. Like, okay, come on now. This dude is smart. What did y'all think about that in developing his character? You made him that smart, but he's gonna be that dumb to fall for a fucking scam. I don't know. But anyway, go see it if you dare. If not, you can wait for it to come out streaming, which is probably gonna happen in like 2 weeks, because that's what everything does now. And yo, that went a lot longer than I wanted to go. But I'm about to be out of here. We need to pay the bills or, drain the lizard. So we will be right back with the meat. Oh, let me just get back to the screen. And we're back. We are back with this episode of the meats. Yeah, we're talking about some stuff today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Have you got?
It goes deep.
Have you? Oh man, deep. Tell me about it. I mean, no pun intended. But have you heard of the term buck breaking?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So buck breaking. What do you know about buck breaking?
All I knew about buck breaking was my dad actually told me about it, but he didn't go into it as like
the details
as what we researched.
Okay.
Man, but however, like buck breaking, they don't obviously we don't learn this in school.
Of course, they don't. They don't talk about it in general. You know what I'm saying? Because it helps to paint the white slave owners in a even more despicable light.
Not to mention it, just like it's like a ripple effect. It goes into like the sex farms and then the breeding. It goes deeper than just
and it goes to support all the arguments that we make or you hear coming from a lot of black men today. About how we are postured to be these overly aggressive and sexual beings, and the machismo and the misogyny of it all, but yet and still, we're not talking about how the slave owners basically used to try to emasculate, you know what I'm saying, men in front of their families and in front of their whole tribe so that they can, feel worthless and like they can't, you know what I'm saying, rise up to prevent any type of revolt. These motherfuckers would rape men in front of their families. Sometimes they would rape the boys, sometimes they would rape the girls, the women. Like they were fucking ruthless. But I'll break it down to you and be specific, okay? So buck breaking refers to the act of sexually abusing black slaves publicly and in front of other slaves in order to assert dominance, punish them, and ultimately emasculate black men. This is sometimes painted to be a closeted gay slave owner's way of acting out their repressed sexual urges, which were largely criminal at the time. There is a debate as to whether or not buck breaking existed and how popular it was, and with little historical evidence surrounding it. In 2021, a documentary by Tariq Nasheed featuring Judge Joe Brown titled Buck Breaking, covering the history of the practice, was released, claiming that the practice still exists in some forms today. Think about the police. The term became popular in 4chan's TV POL boards following the film's release, particularly in mocking the ironic posts against Nasheed for spreading buck breaking as legitimate and posts claiming that Nasheed was interested in buck breaking as a fetish. The history of this sexual abuse period towards slaves has been studied by numerous researchers, and the term buck breaking comes from black buck, a post-Reconstruction era, and that's from 1861 to 1865, racist term that used to refer to black men who were seen as stereotypically violent or unruly and refused to work with the law and society. Breaking a buck refers to abusing the black man to get him to follow orders. Specifically, it often pertains to sexual abuse. So, yeah, and we've heard people throw that term around before about that, the emasculation of the black man. They talk about, all the queer stuff we see on TV, or if there's a queer black man anywhere that's comfortable with himself and is saying that or speaking his truth, automatically it's some shit that the white man taught us. You know what I'm saying? It's some shit we got from the white man or whatever. And that really convolutes the whole conversation. You know what I'm saying? It just drowns it out in a whole bunch of bullshit. But the reality is that was historically very much so a part of what was going on out there. I can't go as far as to say that that shit influenced our culture in any way to like or dislike it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I do believe that, traditionally, our wherever our lineages go to, you know what I'm saying, wherever our past, our ancestors actually were, because I know a lot of us don't know that those parts of the trees or can't get to those branches, but know that, having two spirits quite is a more common, you know what I'm saying, idea than we would like to, give it credit for. It wasn't just the Native American thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of indigenous cultures believe that, those people that possess both masculine and feminine energy were like gatekeepers, were like the healers and shit of the town. Usually the shaman or the medicine man in the town, that would be the two-spirited person. They would have to be connected to their community in the way in which they are. You know what I'm saying? A way that a lot of our black church pastors these days could only dream of, you know what I mean, connecting with their communities. But anyway, I digress from that. But yeah, this is just some really sick practice that, you know what I mean, it makes sense because just thinking about embarrassment and thinking about shame as an idea, as an emotion, you know, um, shame really can cripple a person. You know what I mean? It stops you from having a voice. Shame stops you from looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? It stops you from so much, and that whole shame and bringing that dishonor among the people who were like physically and, you know what I mean, at the time, just in just being. You know what I'm saying? They were the symbol of strength on our side. And to break them down like that, while bloodied or after getting beaten for, planning a revolt or, just defying them in whatever way. And that could be like shit, refusing to lick the doo off or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They were so petty. You know what I mean?
Well, being of Jamaican heritage and descent.
Yeah, there we go.
Really got me.
So that was really popular. It was really popular down there. And they said they had some farms down there, and that other plantation owners would invite other plantation owners to their spots, you know what I'm saying, to come and get a piece of the action. So you think about,
they would go on tour, they go to different ones,
orgies, and you know what I mean. You think today, even just bring it now to our current culture and the LGBTQ community, and how basically there's so many people out there that kind of live this fantasy out. You know what I mean? And if it's not emasculation through some physical stuff like them trying to top you, or maybe, it's not even that. It's not done in that way. It's done in the reverse way these days. It's like the bottoms are the they're like they're raping all the black men because it's like they're going around and they're being a succubus. They crawl over the same carcasses in a circle, you know what I mean, get sloppy seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths, and then at the drop of a dime we'll move on to the next one. And shit's got so many of us fucked up, that we do stuff like start to hate ourselves and start to think that we're unattractive. And this type of environment or this type of game is the only thing we become used to. That happens so much in Minnesota.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to be truthful about it, that happens a whole lot in Minnesota. Even these pro-black poets, these, you know what I'm saying, young black men poets, they're just the symbol of, you know what I'm saying, youth and, you know what I mean, black leadership and, what the fuck is coming up and this, that, and the other. But all I'm seeing you with is white booties and Latino booties and making, and you're scared. Like, some people have actually said that they were traumatized by a dark skinned person, so I can't have sex with. What? You were traumatized, bitch? No, you just know that all the motherfucking black folks here know that you were fucking. Woo, and shit been all over the place. Your walls are gone. I mean, you just don't want to go back over the same canvas that you've already ran down. I mean, into the dirt. And I'm not slut shaming at all, because guess what? I'm a slut, everybody. I'm such a good slut. And I'm the type of slut that's not ashamed of my sluttiness. I'm the type of slut that'll look at your slut in the eye and tell that bitch, keep it 100. I don't mean 100, appointments. I mean 100, 150, something. But yeah, down in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? That shit was really practicing. And seeing y'all wonder why, they don't have tolerance for the chichiman. You know what I mean? You wonder why. Keep that phone away from them, because they go, yeah, the chichiman. You know what I'm saying? They don't. And that's really loaded, because me knowing men and knowing how we think and knowing how we are, all that rah rah rah, we hate gay people, that don't mean shit at the end of the day, because most the people that say that rah rah rah, we hate gay people, and try to emasculate other black men or whatever around that subject, or go in on somebody when they're gay and shit, 9 times out of 10 they're harboring some shit. 9 out of 10 they are fantasizing about the size of your penis and putting it in their mouth and getting their dental work tapped on with yours. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. It's just really weird how this is so many. They play, and by they, I mean the enemy. I'm just going to say the enemy. I'm not calling it a race. I'm not calling it a sex. I'm not calling it anything. But the enemy. The enemy gets us like this all the time. And the enemy exploits. The enemy, you know what I mean? Like puts, like, think of Sarah Bartman, or you know what I mean? And being put in a display case, basically, for the world to just constantly come up and take and touch your hair and look at your booty and just, oh, this is amazing, laugh at it. Even some people laugh and some people cry and some people are scared of it because they've never seen it. This whole spectacle that they make. Or put us into that spectacle.
That they make, though, like that's a human being.
But we the shameful part is that some of us fall for it, and so many of us are falling for it. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever talked to any of the, like, youth, or any of the young people these days, and that you bring up maybe the subject of racism, and they say something like, "Oh, racism. Well, you don't exist. That's for that's some old people shit. That's what happened back in the 80s and the 90s and the 19s. You know what I mean? That racism stuff don't happen no more. People, we ain't on that shit no more. Our generation, really." So when you hear the N word coming from some, and they say the RR, that shit don't get you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I let them motherfuckers, they cuss, they say nigga whenever they rap around them. It's okay. They play and they say, oh, nigga, they start fighting each other. Say 2 white people start fighting each other, they calling each other nigga more than some niggas is calling each other nigga. I mean, nigga. I mean, you've seen these videos, right? You've seen that shit.
I mean, my thing is just, in my work that I do, it's hard enough trying to get young black youth to realize the parallels that we have with Africans.
Listen,
especially in our social dances.
Listen.
So then, like,
right,
that part. So that's
right.
What I'm
like twerking ain't shit. Ain't shit new about twerking. You motherfuckers ain't make nothing new. Ain't nothing new under the sun. But this whole thing, this whole subject made me think about that fucking bastard out on the West Coast, Ed Buck. Now, some of y'all, maybe remember in the audience, the story about Ed Buck, who was a very popular political figure out in California. He was one of their top donors. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He got behind all the major presidential candidates, put a lot of money in the Democratic campaigns. This motherfucker, though, he's like think of Jeffrey Dahmer, but the geriatric version. And, since he didn't have the muscle capacity to, like, club a bitch or chop them up in fucking pieces, he would overdose them on, with drugs and stuff, and tell them that they're having a drink of some vodka or whatever, and it's a good fucking glass full of GHB. In case you don't know what GHB is, it's commonly called the rape drug, or what I'm saying, your mama said knock you out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a viscous kind of fluid that you can easily dissolve into, like, a flavored drink of any type, or alcohol. And sometimes people get the taste confused with alcohol, even though it has a very distinctive taste. And if you are a person that knows your tastes, you will be able to detect that as soon as you taste it. But a lot of times people just kind of overlook it. They say, "Oh, I don't know, maybe the cranberry juice is bad, or I don't know, maybe I burped, maybe that's my dinner or something I'm tasting." And they go ahead and drink it. Next thing you know, they're feeling like they gotta sleep, and 10 minutes later, they're like about to fall out and shit. They can't stand straight in the club. Well, that's because they just roofied you, baby. They just slipped you a Mickey. You know what I mean?
In a state.
They put you in a state, a vulnerable state, It's a horse tranquilizer. So think of what that could possibly do to humans. But anyway, this motherfucker, this wealthy ass Democratic donor, 65 years old, was arrested, and he was finally charged with running a drug den more than 2 years after one of the youngest victims he had, Jamel Moore, who was 26 at the time, fatally overdosed in his West Hollywood home. Now, the man had been doing this shit, picking up people and getting them high on different substances against their will, some of them willingly, for years. Motherfuckers never did anything. The police were notified about it after the first overdose. Then, close to the time that he got arrested, there was another overdose, and this was an older homeless black man, you know what I'm saying? But all his victims are black men. All of his victims are black men. You know what I'm saying? Well hung, homeless, down on their luck, you know what I'm saying? People that had problems with addiction. He preyed on these black men, and his buck breaking came in the form of incapacitating them without their permission. And that shit is like some of the most sinister shit I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, with him being, a rich white man, the political, figure or whatever, they let him get away with it for a long time. And plus, too, they let him get away with it because the victims were black. We know that this would have had a different outcome had they been another color. He was saying that he was gratified by seeing these people get high on whatever substances he was slipping them. Some of them woke up with sore, bloody booties and shit, and just he was role playing. He was in this fantasy. He was living out his fantasy, seeing these men in this position and allowing other people to come in and sexually assault them, just do all types of unheard things, and then flipping on them when he's ready for them to go, and not taking any responsibility for the addiction that he's now probably started or he's magnified in these people who are already going through stuff. And it's really interesting that his last name is Buck. Ed Buck. I need to do some research because maybe that wasn't originally his last name. Maybe that's some shit that he actually changed his name to as another spit in the face, because these girls are crafty. They're really crafty. Wow. And it's just amazing that, no matter what time we're in, no matter what year it is, this need for America, this need for the enemy to show us, to have us in these private ways, in these physical ways, in these very demeaning ways, to have us ashamed and embarrassed. It's so like one of their top priorities, and they will stop at nothing to do it. You know what I mean? Take us out the homes, put us in jails, give us guns, give us gangs, give us, horrible food, give us like no choice, no choices, no chances, give us like no land, no skills, no education, give us poor education, and give us, these punk ass teachers that come into the city thinking that they're gonna, make their degree work for them, you know what I'm saying, right after graduating. And you get sitting here and realize, okay, don't just come over here to the fucking public school district and not care for the education of these kids, and not understand why so many of them have behavior problems. Well, you don't understand why so many of them may not be thinking straight because they didn't have a full meal today. You're never thinking about the fact that in order for them to walk to school, sometimes they're going through very, very dangerous territory because every other block is another gang. Like consider that type of shit. You're coming in your Prius, 9 chances out of 10 from another neighborhood, not from the north side, not from, you know what I'm saying, the school district itself, but you're coming from the outside, and you're going back home talking all this shit about these motherfucking kids and how their parents are not there for them and not supporting them, and they got these shitty resources, but you're not advocating for any better resources. You're not putting any value into our communities because it's a paycheck for you. I started to climb up my soapbox just now, so I'm just gonna get back off of here because I done scared Ja with this conversation, and he done bounced out of it, and we got on the phone in the next room. But anyway, we're gonna have this Ask Chaos coming up next, all right, and then we'll probably close the show. So yeah, you know what it is, you know who it is. Stay tuned to the meet. Hello and welcome back.
And Nacogdoches County.
To this episode of the Meets, and we are now at the section that we like to call
Ask
Chaos. Chaos. Wow.
I got a question.
Okay. And so we have a letter from Claude. Claude is from Tampa, Florida. Okay.
Come on, Tampa.
Let's see. I'm a 35-year-old gay man, and I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We dated for senior year and then stayed in touch while we both went to separate colleges on opposite coasts. We got reconnected after graduate school over drinks and some other recreational activities at the time.
All right.
And at that time, he was dating somebody else, but we remained friends and kept it cordial and best of all over the belt. Well, a couple years ago, he broke up with his partner. And so without saying, we attempted to see where things would be at now. So we started dating each other for a whole year and a half before I realized that this is the man that I am meant to be with.
Oh, wow.
So we tied the knot 11 months ago, and things were good at first. However, roughly 3 months ago, I started to notice that he seems to be a little disconnected from our relationship. He wouldn't whisper sweet nothings in my ear or do none of that regular stuff. You know, the little things that couples do that we did. He just kind of like stopped all of a sudden out of nowhere. He immersed himself in his work and started working after hours and long hours about 6 days out of the week, like Monday through Saturday, only leaving us with Sunday. And then I felt like I hadn't seen him in so long, so I'm on that, demon time. Like, I was expecting dinner, to go places maybe. But he just never seemed to be interested in leaving the house, nor interested in having sex. I think now we have sex a total of maybe 2 times a week. That's if I'm lucky. But most times it's 1.5 to 2. I wonder what the half is.
What is half? Like you got some head?
Or something? I don't know. Yeah, a week. But I noticed that more often than not, I've been walking into the bedroom at times with him, jacking off, watching porn. And it's not like he just watches one scene and just rubs something out. No, he'll be there for hours and hours. So long that he'll let the dinner get cold.
Oh, wow.
The fucking sun goes down. And he's talking about he's tired by the time I get to bed with him. Am I wrong for feeling that he's cheating on me, kind of? I know he's not really cheating on me, literally cheating. Well, I don't really know if he's literally cheating on me, but it's making me wonder why him being so invested in this porn stuff, it's making me second guess myself and feel totally self-conscious about my looks and my body. I just keep feeling like maybe that's what he wants and I'm no longer what he wants. So anyway, it's really, really starting to bug me. So what should I do, or how should I approach this? Well, should I leave? Is this just growing pains for a relationship? Help. Sincerely, Claude.
Well, first thing first, a rich man is a busy man. Come on now. He working. Be happy you ain't got no homosexual in your house.
Homosexuals, yeah, man. It's like a disease up here in Minnesota. I think we have the most homosexuals per capita than any other city. Well, I'll say maybe Portland or LA might rival
by the dozens. And
yeah.
And then on top of that, also too, it is in a way an emotional, or like there's emotional affairs and there's physical affairs. I feel like this is kind of an affair.
So you feel like it's, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, it feels like it. And I get the analogy. I get why Claude, why you said that it's kind of like he's cheating on you, because if he's not willing to give that energy that he used to give to you and just maintaining your satisfaction or making sure that you're okay, which most people in marriages are supposed to do. Like, people know it's like it's an unwritten rule. You know what I'm saying? You know you're supposed to be there for your partner, and that looks different than what it looked like when you were just boyfriend and boyfriend. You know, but yeah, I mean, I get why you feel this way. I mean, I would second guess myself too. You know, however, I do think that moving forward and being positive, you should be open and honest with your partner. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why you married them or chose to, you know what I'm saying, pursue this thing. Because you guys were just friends at first, you know what I mean? And so there's some level of trust and comfort that you have with him. And, you know, I can see if this is kind of like wearing on that a little bit, but this is your partner still. This is your husband. And if you can't talk to them about these things, you know, then maybe you guys should reevaluate, you know, your relationship, or, you know, look at those vows again.
And let me add, like, really quick too, that the fact that a lot of gay relationships don't found themselves on friendship. Like, you have a long relationship, so that you really shouldn't be having these problems, I'm thinking, even though time has passed.
Well, and I mean, I get it sometimes, you know, because for some people, you really don't know how a person is until you move in with them, or
travel with them,
you know, or work with them, or you know, just start to do certain things with them, and you're around them 24/7. I mean, it becomes a different thing. And maybe he got into this and he's maybe having second guesses, or he's having second thoughts about things. I'm not sure. I mean, porn as an addiction is serious, and if he is in fact addicted to porn or watching porn, then that's something that you guys should be able to discuss, and you should be able to offer him some resources and some help with that. Now, it's if he admits, or, you know what I'm saying, acknowledges that that's a problem, or even if it is a problem, you might talk to him about it and find out that it's not really a problem. He feels more adequate masturbating. Maybe he feels inadequate, you know what I'm saying, having sex with you, or like he's not satisfying you. It could be so many different things.
Watch the porn together.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion too. Yeah, watch the porn with him. See what he likes. I mean, you know, and I get it. You know, it's kind of like seeing these chiseled ideas of what, you know what I'm saying, a gay body's supposed to look like or whatever. It's a lot of pressure. But what we need to not lose sight of is the fact that we are still human. And just like every other community, there are humans of different shapes, sizes, smells, hues, all that kind of stuff. And somebody out there loves you and your frame and your, you know, personality and everything that you are. So you are enough. Just know that you are enough.
Somebody, you know what I mean? I know it may seem a little, okay. Whoa. Somebody loves you, baby.
Yeah. I woke up one morning with you.
Oh, come on.
You know what
Remember
I'm saying?
that part, Claude.
So yeah, I don't know if that helps at all, but that's kind of all I got for that one. You know, marriage, it's a partnership. It is ministry. It is spirituality. It's also it's church. It's the courts. You know what I mean? It's work. It's love. It's college. It's everything. You know what I mean? So just try your best to make the most of it, and be as open and as honest as you guys were when you fell in love with him. Okay? Hopefully that was one of the things that made you fall in love with him. I mean, you know, if you tell him this stuff and he kind of like shrugs it off or whatever, hey, go to plan B, which is, I can't really tell you, because yeah, people might say I'm a hater, but yeah, let us know what happens, you know, after you approach him and have this conversation. I really am interested in seeing how this plays out. Okay, but again, like I said, in closing, know that you are worth it and you are enough. Okay, so hope that helps all the people out there in La La Land and Sleepyville, and you know, in the land of Kevin Kaoz more. So yeah, that's this week's episode of The Meat. And you know, yeah, cuddle season, cuffin season, fucking season, happy holidays. This is like Thanksgiving week, so yeah, happy holidays and shit. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. And yeah, oh no, it's not this.
Every day is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Every day is every day. So anyway, we will see y'all next time. on the meat. But we will close our show by saying, repeat after me. Our pride will grow.
Our pride will grow
In our ancestors.
in our ancestors.
In our cultures.
In our cultures.
And in ourselves.
And in ourselves.
We will grow by seeing.
We will grow by seeing,
listening, and deciding for
ourselves.
Listen to see.
Listen to see.
Listen. And think for yourself. Peace.
Peace.
Love. Respect. For everybody. We will catch y'all later on the meat. What y'all think about that new artwork? Oh,
I want to see.
Shout out to Billy Jungbauer.
Youngbauer.
Okay. Peace.
One.
Hold on. One, two. Testes. Shh. My pussy. Okay.
No secret, it's the meat. Don't skimp on the meat. I got a real good eye for prime meat. Runs in the family.
Carnivore wanna start a war. Find which celebrity got the dirty draws. Married to the game with no prenup or clause. Making every ass thing, nigga, no terms or charge. We got the meat. We got the meat. We got the meat. Hey, we making every ass thing. Got the meat. We got the meat. We